This season of Moments with Nderru podcast is powered by WorkspaceGlobal.com, branding made easy. Hey, welcome to season 7 of Moments with Nderru podcast, a space where you will be inspired, encouraged, and uplifted. For those who are tuning in, thank you so much for doing so. A favor to ask, like, share, or subscribe. Well, we're in the second half of 2024. And at times I just feel like this year has purpose to rush ahead, whether we like it or not. It's up to us to catch up with this year. One of the thoughts that came to mind now that we are in the second half of 2024 is to bloom wherever you are. At times we hope to grow and bloom at a certain point in time. So when I get the promotion, that's when I'll bloom. When I get X, that's when I'll grow. When in fact, where you are right now is not a mistake. So why not take the time to reflect and see how you can bloom? Behind me are lilies, and when I got them, they were closed buds, and I thought that the moment that I'll put them in water, that they would bloom the next day or 2 days after that. When in fact, it actually took them about a week, and for others about 2 weeks for them to actually come into bloom. And it got me thinking, when we choose to grow and when we choose to bloom wherever we are, at times we think that we will see the results immediately. So in this case, I thought that they would bloom 2 days after they were put in water, when in fact, it took them about 1.5 weeks. And sometimes we are so eager to see results in our lives that we want to rush things, we want to force things to come into fruition, when in fact, everything has a process. Just like these lilies, they took time to bloom. So in this second half of 2024, I would hope that we would not rush things, force things, but embrace the process of blooming, embrace the process of growing. Because also as we bloom and grow, there are things within us that we have to let go. There are things within us that we have to decide if we're going to hang on to or release. But you cannot rush this process. I know there were things that I had wanted to see come to life in the first half of 2024, and yet they still haven't come to pass. Does that mean they're not going to come to pass? No. It just means that there is a process at play, which I can't force, which I can't manipulate. I just have to embrace that process. So look at this second half of 2024 as an opportunity to see the things that we planted, see the things that we chose to embrace come to bloom. That includes yourself as well. That what you chose to do in the beginning of 2024, give it time. If it's you, give yourself the grace to see yourself become that individual that you hoped to become during the first half of 2024. So embrace the process. Remember that blooming takes time. Don't be in a rush like I was with these lilies, where I was thinking that, you know what? By tomorrow, 2 days after tomorrow, they will bloom. Actually, they had their own process and they had their own timeline. And also on that thread, at times we plant things and we want to be in a rush to see a harvest. And there's a season for everything. And at times we get really frustrated when we don't see things come to bloom when we expected them to come to bloom. But just know the fact that you have planted something, a harvest will come. That is a life principle where there is always going to be the law of seed time and harvest. Whatever you plant will eventually become a harvest. So give yourself the grace to bloom, give yourself the grace to see that harvest come to life. Don't be in a rush to see all these things that you are hoping to see come alive. And lastly, the fact that we're in the second half of 2024, it's very easy to lose hope and just say, you know what, there's no point trying to pursue whatever it is that I'm pursuing, because anyway, 6 months have gone by and I'm not seeing what it is that I'm trying to achieve come to life. I would hope that during the second half of 2024, you would shift your perspective and try and look at things differently. For example, how am I viewing resistance? We face so many obstacles and challenges that at times we just bow to that resistance and say, you know what, what's the point? It's never that serious. Yet the resistance is there to prompt you and to and to make sure that you get to ask yourself, do I really want this? Do I really want to achieve this goal? Do I really want to see this dream come to life? And if the answer is yes, then press forward, even if you're facing all these obstacles and resistance, because ultimately, good things take time. And also, your faith will be tested. I mean, okay, you want to achieve this dream, but why should it come easy? Who said it should come easy? So my encouragement to you today is embrace the process, view your life differently during this second half of 2024, and recognize that you can look at things differently. You can shift your perspective on things. And as you shift your perspective, you'll begin to see things differently. And when you see things differently, you'll be able to pursue them differently. And lastly, bloom. Don't hold back. Bloom wherever you are, however long it takes. No matter the obstacle, just ensure that you bloom like these lilies. So until the next episode, continue being brave.